Welcome, everybody, to episode number 1 of Now Hear This, where I'll be highlighting some of the best projects of 2025. First up, we have Brooklyn producer MC Saga with his new project, Best Story Ever Told with Mac Montana. Drops on February the 14th. Is there some type of subliminal message going on February 14th, Valentine's Day? What's going on with that?
Well, I figured, the cliche of the chocolate and the flowers for wifey, let's give them a little something different, a little something heavy, like something that's going to, get them warmed up. I think this is the perfect gift for you females.
Absolutely. And for us heads as well, you know what I mean? So, I gave it the listen earlier today, and I'm telling you, this is something you guys need to check out. But before we jump into this project, talk a little bit about the reception from Black Label Saga Volume 1 and 2 dropped last year.
Yeah, man. I think it like my the idea, like when I did it, was to drop the double project. So I had all those joints coming out back to back. So it kept hitting people. So the first one was sort of what I thought it was gonna be. It was gonna be the warm-up project. And then the second one just kind of like took off really. And it's like already people were already captivated. So they
Right.
were like, oh, what's this now? Even more music. And the funny thing is the Pete Rock and Common Sense it was a single, but they were like saying it was supposed to be a double project or something, right?
Right.
Yeah. So it's like just a weird thing, man. Sometimes in the ether is instructing us all to like for something next. Like it's like the idea comes to a lot of people. It's like who can snag it first?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So how does this project differ sonically from your previous, or are you just keeping the same formula moving into this project?
I mean, this project is really structured to be strictly um like it's not as diverse sounding like Black Label Saga was very diverse, had like had very dark and gloomy, slow tempo, then had some like medium tempo that was more soulful. So it was a really mixed bag of my sounds. This is very strictly like tailored for like more of a gritty, darker sound. There's one song on there that's like that R&B sounding joint, which is more of a that's the lighter song out of the whole project. But generally, if you notice, the drums are super hard on this. All the drums, I made sure they all knock. Like this is car music. Like you're supposed to listen to this with, you know what I'm saying? Like you don't have to turn your bass up. You don't have to crank up the equalizer. Just boom,
Right.
just it already has it. It's stock.
Right. No doubt. Mac Montana was on Black Label Saga. So how did he get down with this new project, and how did you guys, team up to drop this album?
Yeah. So early on in Black Label, when I was sort of making joints, I had already had probably like 12 to 14 of the songs done, but I was still making more songs that sort of like were the patchwork, which sort of linked everything together. I could string them, the ones I was going to put between other songs to bridge everything nice to make it smooth. And that one song that I did with him, that song actually there was a Pete Rock beat, there was a sample, and I basically snatched and flipped the sample and I sent it to Pete Rock. And he must have been, he was following Pete Rock. I didn't know Mac at that time. So he was following Pete Rock and I posted it and somebody tagged Pete Rock. Pete Rock actually reposted it on his Instagram. And then Mac saw it on there and he goes, yo, let me jump on that. So I let him jump on it. And I'm always open to like, if you have the right charisma for the beat and we also sound well together, then of course it was like the perfect fit. And then we had done a few other songs. Like I was on a couple of projects. I made a couple of beats for him for his projects. And then I was on a couple of those joints. And then so we did like back and forth and we were like, oh, we got to do something, man, because we had a lot of chemistry, sounding wise, because he got more of a grounding sort of stable sort of vocal tone as well as his inflection and even his delivery, his voice. And I'm kind of more like a little bit more like, sporadic and choppy with the way I rhyme. So it's a good balance. So, sometimes you don't want to have too much of one thing.
Right. What kind of conversations did you guys have as far as the direction you wanted this project to go?
I mean, I just said I would just send him something with me rhyming on it, and I said, "Yo, match up." You know what I'm saying? And then I send him something else. He'd be like, and then he would kill it. Then I send him something else, match up. And then I did like some little tweaks and remixes and stuff just to make sure get everything real tight. Because a very important part of the process for me is you can make 20 dope joints, but do all those songs really work together? Could you string them together sonically? Like I could, because I produce, I could like that's the upside of being of producing my own stuff is that I could sonically string everything together. If I don't like the way something sounds, boom, I'll come back. Like my ear, I'll be like, okay, man, this needs to sound like this. So I'll tune my samples to a certain pitch, make them sound a certain way with our voices, make them match the next song. So everything is really tailored. Like that's real production, not just beat making. That's at least in my definition.
Right. You said Pete Rock reposted up your beats. Did you guys ever have conversations? Are you in direct contact with Pete, and did he give you any feedback?
Nah, man. He gave me feedback. He's like, "Yo, this is fire." He told me, and I bigged him. I said, "Thank you." I appreciated him. Posting it and and giving it the head nod. From the legend himself. So I was like, that was good enough for me, man. And I mean, I talked to him in DM. I think really very slightly. I don't like to push it. I don't want to. It's like overstaying your welcome. You don't want to like lean too much into it. So you keep it nice and short to the point. And he was very cordial. It was dope. Of course, man, I would love for him to be like, yo, I'm gonna send you something. You know what I'm saying? But the
Right.
world don't work that way.
Put it in the air. It didn't happen. Put it in
Exactly.
the air. Can you talk a little bit about the creative process with you and Mac? I know you said you met, over the internet. Have you guys met in person, and did you create anything in the studio together?
No, not yet, but that's an upcoming project that we're working on with I had mentioned it in the last podcast. Trox production and me, Mac, Iceberg Snub, Noise, and pretty much that's going to be like the center crew, and we're going to do something, and it's all going to be live. We're all going to do it in person. We're going to meet in Miami, so I'm announcing that here. That's coming up. So, and we're going to document the whole thing, and we'll be posting clips and photos, the whole process of making it, and then dropping it.
Right. This is a 6-song EP. How long did it take for you and Mac to put this together?
This fairly quickly. I would say like, and you get the initial bones of a project kind of early on. Like for me, like the structure is there probably within a month, and then it's like the fine tuning later that takes me a little bit longer. Like anything else, like even like mixing your own stuff, like you listen to it so much that you lose your ear for it. You got to step away, give it some space, come back to it with fresh ears. So I would do that. Like so that's what made it take a little bit longer because I wanted to revisit it and see how I felt about it. With a fresh ear. So I did that a couple times while simultaneously working. The good thing is I get to work on other projects, so I'll jump on something else, jump on another thing, then come back to that. So I'm kind of like ADD about it. I'm all over the place. So I'm back and forth.
Right. You mentioned some of the features of the fellas on this project. Can you talk about your relationship with Nonchalantly Zay?
Nonchalantly Zay is really Mac's boy. He came through that little cipher. So Snub, Nonchalant, Noise is my man. And so that was kind of like we brought these people together, and now like I don't have I don't have anything in the future with Nonchalant Zay. I had done some beats for him. Um, and then with Snub, like I mentioned last time, we got a project coming out. That's definitely a summer vibe project too. It's very like yeah, it's super like pimped out. It's dope. So it's a different vibe. Like per artist that I'm working with, I design and tailor the sound, and it's like getting to know them too. Like you get to know them by their delivery and their sound. Like you do one song, you kind of know what's gonna work and what's not. So yeah, that's kind of like the process.
Right. How'd you meet Iceberg Snub?
That was through Mac. That was his man. They're from Boston. So Mac is from Boston. Snub is from Boston. So I met through there, and then he and we met up about a month ago up in Orlando. I was up there with my family for my kids. I had them up in Disney World, actually Universal Studio, and just oddly enough, he was down there. So I said, "Yo, it's crazy." So we met up and we built in person, and yeah, good people, good vibe, man. Our project's gonna be super fire.
You say Noise is your man?
Yeah, Noise is my man. I know Noise for probably like 10 years already. He's from Brooklyn. So yeah, he's the he got he and I together are real chemistry, man. When you hear this project we're working on, that basically I just have to mix at this point called Iron Age. Like there is real chemistry. This is what you would call, I don't know, man. It's like edgy boom bap, but at the same time contemporary adult rap. Like it's like this good mix of like just like abstract boom bap at the same time, super soulful. Yo, so yeah, that project's like that, and that's like 15 joints. That's that project.
Right.
So that's gonna be a heavy one.
Let's jump into some songs off this new project. It's called Best Story Overtold. What's the concept behind that title?
Best story ever told is just like, you put your best foot forward, man, when you do your art. Let's tell the story. Let's tell the story of our process of our lives of, so it's just basically a general subject. It's not so concept as much, but it's more just flexing, and but also like I get into things like Invisible Walls is really about technocracy and our surveillance state. So I mix in like real subject matter. Like the thing is, my whole style is not to be too pushy with my subject matter. It's to have a good balance of say something significant, but also say it in my style, so it keeps people sort of like nodding their heads and like, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Dow Jones.
Yeah, Dow Jones. Dow Jones is like, let me get. It's just see those strings that run through it, the bass line. You just get that heavy drop in it. It's just dramatic, man. It's like rapping on a novella. It's like rapping on daytime daytime soap opera. Like like some drama, some shit going on.
No doubt. Exported Weapons.
Exported Weapons is it's that's like the soulful banger on it. Like that's kind of got that R&B. Like that intro comes in, and it's more dramatic. And I'm just talking about like on the subject matter on that is just like it's like when you have an idea about like what your life is supposed to be and how to really structure it, your mind becomes your weapon. Like you use exported weapons as like the weapons before the weapons. Before we get into like real physical, like your mind is a weapon, and how you deliver and how you present yourself, how you deliver your personality or what I'm saying, your character, you deliver it to the world. It's like that's your first weapon. That's your first line of defense and your first line of offense. And it's to use your mind. So that's what exported weapons is about.
Monster.
Monster is just exactly what it is, man. It's just let's go barbarian on this, just like spit, do what you do best, the that beat is again hard drums, and it's kind of like spacey at the same time. It's got that flickering guitar in it, um, and then it's got that low voice that rides underneath at the end. It's just kind of, and then the bass line that like sort of answers to that voice. That the voice goes through it, and then the bass line responds to it. So it's very like that was designed for a specific sound to have like these 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 contrasting but working together sounds.
Right.
Again, with the hard drums and bass lines.
Right. And Never Tell.
Never tell is exactly what it is. Like, don't telegraph. Don't always telegraph what you do. Sometimes, your best weapon is your surprise. So don't tell on yourself. Don't tell your plans. Like, how many times have you heard, don't tell people what you're doing, because somehow they put that energy out, like they're trying to undermine you, undercut you, just vibe wise. So never tell, just show and prove.
Right. At this point, where can they find the project when it drops on February 14th?
The project will be on all platforms. Soul Spasm's doing my digital. Jerry's on my PR. But It's available on Bandcamp with all my other projects. It's available on all other platforms. I mean, if you want to give it some spins on SoundCloud, it'll be on there. If you want to give it spins on Spotify and all the other platforms, it's there. It's everywhere. It actually this one got like right away from the jump, got a lot of, and I don't know if it's like layover from Black Label Saga projects, but this project already got like some solid playlists, like on Spotify and Apple Music. So it's in there, so it's dope.
Right. What's keeping Saga inspired in 2025 to keep making music?
Man, the same thing, man. Just the creative process, bro. Just like I can't imagine myself doing anything else. Like this is what I do. This is already part of my DNA. Like I don't even know what to do. Like if I stop doing this, I'd be like lost, man. Like so it's just like I had just heard a beat. It's not one of my beats, somebody else's beat, and I heard it, and I said, and I just got inspired, man. I was like bouncing around today. I heard it. I was like, yo, I got to do something. So I just before I jumped on, I was like for the past like hour and a half, 2 hours, I was writing, recording, and I just recorded this joint with this for this pretty big producer who just dropped like this like instrumental. It's always kind of a weird like thing, like to for producers like that don't know you. They drop an instrumental, but you rap on it. But what else are you supposed to do with it? You know what I'm saying? Like it's there. Like I had an incident with another pretty like huge producer, and I rapped on his stuff, and this was years ago, and it was just like the reception was like kind of cold, man. I was like whatever, but it got super response. Like everybody loved it, and it was on like all the blogs. It was like everywhere, man. They were talking about it on Reddit. Like it had a Reddit post, and this thing had gone super cyan underground. And but he was getting all this feedback now from all these people, and I wasn't expecting that, and he wasn't expecting that. He's like, "Who's this?" Yeah. So it's always iffy, but fortunately for me, I don't really care what people think. Like if they don't like it, or they just like whatever, whoever this is, I don't
Right.
care. Just I keep it pushing.
Right. I think a few months ago I asked you this question. I don't know if it's changed or not, but are you currently looking for artists to work with?
Yeah, the kind of thing is like for me, like if people approach me and want to work with me, I'll work with if they're fire and I think that it's compatible, I'll work with them. Like I don't have like this sort of like gatekeeper kind of thing. You know how often I feel like there are people who have clout and they have a little bit of like momentum or they got some solid momentum, but yet they just don't know how to coordinate and orchestrate to build like something bigger. Imagine so you have artists up here and then you got artists that are here at different levels in their careers. And like sometimes there are artists who kind of always trying to like feed off of somebody bigger than them, but they never sort of build their own structure and foundation and like their own sound and identity, something that's never been heard before. Like for me, the best scenario and the best case situation would be if I had like gotten some dope artists who were unknown and we did something that was original and right and built it from the foundation instead of me trying to work with people who were above me to glean some of their clout and credibility, like, oh, I need your fans, you know what I'm saying? Like to me, I'd rather just have something super organic at ground level that goes viral and is super fly.
Right. Do you like the current space that hip hop is in 2025, or do you feel like maybe there's too many producers, not enough producers? The sound. How do you feel about hip hop in 2025?
Honestly, man, in any period, it never really bothered me. Honestly, to be if I have to say, like the period that might have bothered me the most was probably 2014, 2010 to 13. It was kind of like backpack, but you had these partitions in hip hop, and you were in your cliques and cliches, and you weren't really like able to like access all different audiences like you are now. It was kind of feeling its way out on the internet a little bit, and you had like so I didn't really like that period as much because I come from a period where underground and commercial wasn't divided. You could listen to like a mainstream radio station, and you're getting Nas, and you're getting you know Mob Deep and you're getting Helter Skelter and all the boot camp people, like I come from that era. So I liked it when you were getting like a boot camp song and then an R&B song. And then you're getting, you know what I'm saying? Like it was all mixed together. And then we had this partition and everybody was kind of filling their way out. Now I feel like we're in the Wild West. So you can really like find all kinds of music. I like it because it forces clones, but it also forces experimentation. It forces you to push the limit of sounding like somebody else because there's a lot of clones out there. But at the same time, like other people are really experimenting, so you get to find like people who are trying new things. So I think it's great, man. I don't knock any. I don't really knock any in the modern era. I think the underground sound and more like the harder boom bap stuff has been making a comeback for the past 7, 8, 9 years right now, 10 years, probably since 2015.
Right. What producers these days have your ear?
I would say, man, Apollo Brown's always had my ear. Um, I love this new Rock Marciano and Premier Armani joint. I
Hmm.
don't know, man. I hear mixed reviews on it, but that sounds to me like old Premier.
Right.
Like I like that joint. It's just super fire. Um, Other than that, Nicholas Craven, he's fire. There are like there's producers out there who there's a lot, but there's a lot of dope, and everybody kind of got their niche. They all got their little spaces that they exist in with their sound. So that's fire.
Are you anticipating that Larry June, Two Chains, Alchemist project?
I mean, I am and I'm not. Like Alchemist always does it, but
Yeah.
it's kind of like to me that's experimental. That those people together, like we're hearing that sound.
Right.
But there's some producers who can make really anybody sound great. I always said that about Premier. Premier was known to have a stable of MCs who were just not like the illest, like lyrically or structurally, but Premier always had a way of bringing everybody out to the next level. So if I was to let's say by some imagination of mine, I was able to do a Premiere project, of course it would sound fire. You know what I'm saying? Like that wouldn't really be the challenge. The challenge is making something that's super toned down, that doesn't that's very kind of neutral sounding musically, and then you as the MC sort of bring it out. And that's kind of like the that's kind of how I approach music. My music will be slappy and boom bassy, boom bappy, but at the same time, like I already hear lyrics on it as I'm making it. Like I'm already writing. So sometimes my beats might not sound entirely full or complete. And then what I do is I build after. So like I'll do like my drums, some of my sounds, and then I'll rap on it. And then I'll come back and throw bass lines on it, or I'll throw my little salt and pepper, my little sound effects and stuff like that, just to fill in those gaps and make you feel like bigger and fuller. Um, so there's all different processes, but yeah, this the Alchemist always kills it. He never disappoints. So it's like yeah, of course it's gonna be dope on some level.
Right. Any advice you can give some of these upcoming producers looking to get into the game right now?
Oh man, like stay like for me, stay away from like doing what you think you need to do to grow to get like huge, and really start engaging and fully involving yourself in trying to sound like yourself. Go with how you feel. It's really about tapping into your source for your creativity and your emotion and projecting that. If you're satisfied by that, then you know that your music is authentic.
Right. Once best story ever told drops, what can we expect from Saga?
214, Valentine's Day. Yo, strap a ribbon around it, throw some hearts on it. Yo, rock it in your whip. Yo, it's definitely car music. So if you're gonna listen to it, make sure you ride. It's ride around music. Um, and then after that, like I'm dropping a series of singles. So we'll have that run. As soon as I see a little bit of downward movement, boom. I got singles in the stable right now that are absolute fire too. So I'm gonna be dropping those every week until the Piranha Head project when we're working on that in Miami. In between mixing Iron Age with me and Noise, So that project we're hoping comes out in I think April or May, maybe the end of May, and then we're talking about June, July for Regatta, which is me and Iceberg Snub, and then after that I got my project Neon Slum, which is more of like end of summer, early fall, and then who knows after that, man. By the time that's all done, I have like another 2 or 3 projects ready to like slap 'em in the head before like
Right.
Christmas. You know,
Right. Are we
what's the
gonna
season?
are we gonna get a project of just Saga rhyming over somebody else's beats?
I would love to. I would love to, but the thing is, I get so like a whole project. I'm rapping over other people's singles and stuff like that now. But I would love to do a whole project. I'm just waiting for the right person to approach me to do the project. Because I always feel like if I approach somebody, then it's like I don't want it to be half-hearted on their part. I want that, I want it to be full heart. I want to be like, yo, I want to rock with you. I want to do this. But I think also at the same time, once I'm clicking and I haven't abandoned the ears of the audience, like I'm keeping busy, 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 and I'm sort of I'm ubiquitous across all these platforms constantly. Then at least there's like movement and it's talk and it's constant. So people really have a harder time forgetting you and ignoring you, including other producers. I mean, yeah, I'd love to do a project with P Rock, the large professor. I had producers on the table, man, like that I kind of didn't go with and I should have under under bad advice, like from team. I should have did some projects that producers wanted to work with me, and I kind of blew it, and I kind of now I don't want to go back and be like, yo, I'm ready to do this now. But there's a time and place for things too. There's a time when you're ready to do it. Um, so yeah, I'm not about forcing a fit. Like I want it to be natural.
Can you mention some of those producers who maybe you
Yeah, I mentioned one, Bronze Nazareth.
from Michigan?
Yeah. So me and Bronze were in talks. I had a bunch of beats. I worked on a bunch of joints. And then under some bad advice, I was told not to do that now,
Mm,
maybe in the future. And at the same time, I had a project lined up with Knots. And
mm,
then the funny thing was like the Knots joints they were dope, but I didn't feel up to snuff. I didn't feel like I was my sharpest. So for me, it was hard for me to work on to drop that project. Um, and then I actually heard other rappers rap on the beats that I rapped on. They came out, like he had worked with those, and I guess he shopped those beats to them, and they took it. But yeah, I had some dope features on there with some dope projects, and it's not like it's I could always do it again, but like I said, I'll kind of know when the buzz is just right to approach those people. There's a bunch of other producers. Of course, I love to work with Alchemist, and a few other Premiere, but I wait for that fit to be right.
right. Very dope. Saga, it's always a pleasure connecting with you. Before we get out of here, can you let the people know where they can keep up with you on social media?
Follow me on everything. If you Google me on Saga 718, you'll get strictly my YouTube, Instagram. You get all my socials. You get Bandcamp. Um, but I'm on everything, man. Just look me up, Saga or Saga 718. Um, and just check me out, man. Leave a comment, say what's up. I'm social. I talk.
No doubt. And one more time, plug that new project dropping this Friday.
Best story ever told. 6-song EP. Me and Mac Montana. Features from Noise, my man, Iceberg Snub. Um, just check it out, man. It's pure fire, man. This is Jeep music, man.
Right. Any plans for physical copies?
There are plans for physical copies. I'm probably going to jump off this Piranha Head project with physical copies. I'm not sure about this project just yet. Um, I'm waiting to fill it out. Fill out the response to it. I'm building up to something. You know,
What about merchandise?
merch again. I'm gonna have some shirts coming up in the near future. We'll have a bunch of T-shirts with the album covers on them. Especially like the Agassi one. Agassi one got the Agassi kind of like the Jumpman version of Agassi on it. Um, the Hagler joint. This one Piranha Head. That's gonna be the perfect T-shirt. So yeah, that's the move for the future.
doubt. Big shout out to Jerry Graham for connecting us once again.
Yep.
Saga. I am the journalist Sin-seer, and we'll see you guys again in the near future. Go out and get the best story ever told this Friday, and bang that joint until your windows crack, and and be on the lookout for more new exciting stuff from Saga. Appreciate you, Saga.
Exactly. Peace, man. Thank you.
No doubt. See you again soon.
All right, easy, brother.
Peace.